Hello and welcome once again to the Waters and Stanton video channel. Some of you may have known that I've taken a trip up to the Highlands of Scotland, but we're just finished now. We're packing away and we've got a 550-mile trip down south, which will stop halfway around about T Bay. But it's a wonderful place, the Highlands of Scotland. We've had rain, we've had sunshine, but of course you can't have green mountains and green hills unless you have rain. You can't have waterfalls unless you've got rain. But it's a lovely place and we've had a good time, not without problems. We've had a few problems which I'll mention in the next video. But I must actually tell you a story. This is a true story of my first trip to Scotland, which just demonstrates the kind of guys and girls that are up here. My first trip to Scotland, an old Range Rover. Travelled 550 miles, or just a bit less, stayed at a place called Kenthallen. We booked into a hotel. Now Kenthallen is a little tiny village really, there's nothing much there at all. There was a shop there, there's not even a shop there now. We booked into this very nice hotel, but as I drove up onto the driveway of this hotel, I saw steam coming from underneath the bonnet of the Range Rover. I lifted up the bonnet, there was masses of steam, and I thought, oh dear. Now fortunately, the guy that ran the hotel had been in the motor industry, and he came out and he said, oh, it's your top hose split. He said, you need a new top hose. I said, oh dear, what am I going to do? I thought, you know, in the middle of nowhere. He said, let the engine cool down. He said, rather tomorrow morning when it's cool. He said, there's a garage 3 miles down the road. Go down towards Port Appin. He said, there's a garage there. I think it was called Gunn's Garage. So I thought, okay, well. So the following morning I drove down to Gunn's Garage. Now, Gunn's Garage is a fairly elderly garage, and I hope I've got the name correct. There was a petrol pump that hadn't delivered petrol for many years. It made a good nostalgic photograph. There was 1 or 2 old cars that likewise hadn't been in action for many years. There was an old breakdown lorry, and there was like a metal shack, which I assumed was where they did the repairs. Anyway, a guy came out, which turned out to be the owner. And I told him the problem. He said, oh yeah, you need a new top hose. He said, I tell you what, can you come back about 3 o'clock this afternoon? I said, yeah, okay. So we couldn't go very far. We motored back to the hotel, had a walk round, and I was very doubtful about what he was going to do. Was he going to tape it up? What was he going to do? So we went down at 3 o'clock and he said, okay, he said, give me 45 minutes. He said, take the kids down there, there's a nice walk down there. So we walked down to the direction he directed us, and it was nice and pretty, but I still had this nagging doubt. Anyway, I came back and he said, it's all done. He lifted up the bonnet and there was this brand new top hose for a Range Rover, and I thought, he's got no stock here. How did he get the top hose of a Range Rover so quickly? I said, tell me, how did you do it? Oh, I said, it's quite easy. I rang down to Oban, the Range Rover dealers. They put it on the bus. The 2:30 bus goes past. The driver stopped, popped it into the workshop for me. And that's how I got it. I thought, well, that is a demonstration of the community spirit in Scotland. I can't imagine that happening in the southern part of England. There we are. Anyway, that was my first trip to Scotland. A very memorable trip. More in my next video, but in the meantime, you take care, and as usual, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.